everyone. I was going through a drawer looking for something else and I came across this. And it's masking liquid. I bought it in a shop called The Flying Tiger. It's in a shopping centre near to where I live. It's a Scandinavian company and they sell all sorts of varied stuff and things. And I thought, well, that might be useful sometime. And it's been sitting in the drawer for ages and I haven't used it. So I thought I'd make a card using some masking liquid. And the idea being is that if you want to stamp something and keep part of it uncoloured when you go over it with a wash, you can protect it with a masking liquid. It's a bit like, you know, cutting a mask as I did with that lovely peony the other day. So I've got a stamp here of seabirds. They've got no legs because it looks like they're sitting in the sea. So what I want to do is to stamp the birds like this near the bottom of my card panel and then mask them. And then after that, go over the page with some watercolour to keep these from being coloured. And then I can either leave them white or colour them in afterwards. I'll presumably, I think with the seabirds, I'll leave the chests white. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use just VersaFine Claire, I think, to stamp them with. And then I'll do the masking over the top. Now, I will have to stop the video at that point because that will need time to dry. Well, not long, but it will need time to dry before I paint over it. So we'll do this in bits and bobs. Here's my VersaFine. This stamp I've had for a very, very long time from a company called the Rubber Stamp Company. And the funny thing is, these are not made of rubber. These are some form of polymer, I think. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I like the stamps. I don't know if the company's still in business, but the Rubber Stamp, was it the Rubber Stamp? The Rubber Stamp Gallery, not the Rubber Stamp Company. The Rubber Stamp Gallery, there we go. Right, here are my seabirds. And I'd like to do some effects with the water afterwards, maybe some over-stamping and stuff like that to, you know, give the effect of the water. So there are my birds. One thing they haven't got either is an eye. So I tend to put one of those in afterwards with a little fine line pen. Now, I read the instructions for this and it said you can either use it directly from this nozzle or you can use it with the paintbrush. Presumably for that you'd have to put a bit out onto a surface and pick it up. I'm going to try it first of all with the nozzle and see how we go on. Oops. I'm just covering the bird itself, hopefully. Let's see. When you first press it, it comes out quite a lot. Those of you who are watching my granddaughter Cleo and myself yesterday, well, I put the video up on my Facebook page today, you'll be pleased to know that her mum was thrilled with the card. Absolutely thrilled. When she put it onto the card base, she wanted to write inside, and she just absolutely wrote the whole, you know, it was an A5 size card, like a sheet of A4, just folded in two. And she wrote how she'd been shopping and she'd bought something and this, that and the other. And a great long screed, and her mother was absolutely thrilled. We went there for lunch yesterday, so you'd be happy to know that it went down really, really well. So now I'm going to leave that until it's dry. And I will see you in a moment. Again, everyone. I'm afraid that my masking liquid took rather longer to dry than I'd anticipated yesterday. I think if I'd probably put it on by brush, with a fine brush, rather than using the nozzle of the tube or pot or whatever you call it, it might have dried more quickly. But there was kind of a raised bit where the last drip went down, and it took a long time to dry. So that's something for the future for that particular masking liquid. I hadn't actually used it before. Anyway, now I'm ready to start adding some colour. I want to do a little bit of sky and a little bit of sea. I probably should have chosen some watercolour paper for this, but I haven't. This is my regular cardstock, so we'll just see how we go, see how it holds up. We may get some warping, but I can always put it onto another piece that I can cut with the same die that I used for this one, which would hopefully straighten it out. But we'll just see if that is necessary as we come to it. Okay, I've got a bunch of greeny blues and stuff here in Oxides, which I'm going to start adding to my picture. I think I might start with just a little sky, and I'm going to do what I did with a card the other day and put a little on my mat, a drop of water, and then I'm going to not smooch this into that. I'm going to get something to smooch a bit of that onto here. So here I've got a bit of bubble wrap, but I'm going to use not the bubble side, the other side. So I'm just going to make a little wad, and I'm just going to dab onto here. And I think what I will do with that is probably just dab again with the paper towel to take a little bit away. I really don't want much at all. I think that'll do for that. Right, now I'm going to have a go at the sea. And I'm going to use various colours, I think. I'm going to start with a lightish colour. So I've got Stormy Sky here. Stormy Sky is going to be the Stormy Sea. So let's add some water to this. And this time I'm going to just drag it across with a big old brush. So quite watery. I'm just going to drag across like this. Okay. Doesn't matter whether it's kind of dry or not really. Now, next colour I've got is Faded Jeans. Now, while that's still wet, I'm just going to do a bit of this business. Okay, that's quite a strong colour, isn't it? Right, what else have I got? There's that one. I think I'm going to try a bit more Stormy Sky and try and get a slightly deeper shade into it. Let's try a bit more of that. So slightly less water. Perhaps I'll just pick some up with my brush with a drop of water on. See how we go. Good, that's better. Just want some variance of colour. Okay, good-o. Now I'm going to try some of this peacock feathers. Oh, I don't know if this is green enough. I just laminated my chart. Mermaid Lagoon, peacock feathers. I just want a greeny sort of blue. The broken china doesn't look too bad, does it? Now I'll try this one. This is the one I picked up before. I'll just have a go and see. I think I'll do the same with this as I did before. Just pick up a little with my brush and take it. Okay, I'm going to dry this now because I think that I would like to do some stamping onto it. Okay, I will whiz this a little bit quicker. Right, what I have now are some stamps. These are very old stamps, as you can see, from Stamplorations. And this one is a particularly nice one. I like this one for grounding things, but it's just kind of a whole bunch of dots and things. So we'll just see how we go with this one. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it's going to stick to the block very well. So let's just see. Oh, is that doing okay? It's doing okay. So let's go back with the same colours for a start that I used before. Right, just wipe that off and use a different colour. I just want to kind of try to add some texture. If you find that your paper towels, not paper towels, baby wipes, are doing what that one did just then and you know, got all sort of furry, you could use a stamp cleaner cloth, and I've got a couple in here. Both look disgusting, but they're both absolutely fine. This one is from Lawn Fawn, and they call it a chamois. And to do this, and this brings all bits of fluff, dust and dirt off a stamp, and you know, gives them a really good clean. This one is another make. This is Nouveau. This started off grey, but not quite as grey as it is now. But the discoloration doesn't affect it. You can just wash it out and then use it again. So I just keep them in an old carry-out box, and that keeps them nice and moist because they do need to be wet with water, not any solvent or any of that kind of carry-on. Right, that was Faded Jeans. Let's try Stormy Sky now. That's nice. It's not so intense as the... Right, and with this, I could do with something that's just a bit more... Oh, this is actually a bubble wrap stamp. Let's try a bit of... I'll do this with my fingers because I don't want it to be kind of everywhere. I just want bits. So I think I'll use... Let's try the Tumbled Glass, which is really light, and see what happens. Don't think that's making much of an effect. I can see bits. Let's try the Distress Oxide, the Peacock Feathers. Oh, that's nice. Oh, lovely. That's a really good effect, actually. Now, what I want to do, I think I could do with a little bit more colour in the sky, in fact. So, having said I thought it was all right, I'm just going to put a bit more in the sky. So I'm going back to my Tumbled Glass. Drop of water. And I will try this way and just see. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Just a bit more colour. I like it. Right, now what I'm going to do with the sea is I'm just going to... I don't know if this is dry enough to work, but I've got a jelly roll pencil, and I'm just going to do some little marks around the feet of these birds, as if there's kind of ripples, you know, where they've been standing. Okay. And somewhere or other we're going to have a sentiment. So this is going to go on the front of a half sheet of A4, cut down the length and tent folded. And the thing to get this off with is either an eraser or your finger. I'm going to try, I have got some, here it is. I've got one of these funny eraser things. Let's just see. Just going to rub it off. And there underneath is the white that it was before we put the masking liquid on. Got a bit stuck on the eraser. Just rub it all off. It's like a rubber solution, really. You can use Elmer's. I don't know if it's called rubber solution or what, but you can use Elmer's for masking, and it just kind of rubs off. You can perhaps rub it off with your finger or peel it off or whatever. So now you see we've got that pristine white, and we've just actually stamped and inked and goodness knows what all over it. So now with a small fine liner, I'm just going to put the eyes of the birds in, make them look a little bit more animated. There we go. So that's kind of it, really. It's managed really well. I think you may have had a slightly different effect on a watercolour card, but if you don't have any, the reason I did it on this card is because not everybody's got some watercolour card, but you might actually enjoy having a go at this kind of technique. And I'm just going to put a few more little white horses out here. I don't know what you call them. We call them, if you can see the crest of waves, we call them, well, in my family, we call them white horses. But there we go. There's my little scene of birds having a bit of a conversation or whatever in the sea. So there we go. This is going to, as I say, going to go onto a card front. Thought I had one here. Here is one. It's going to go on the front like this. Maybe with a border, I don't know. But a sentiment could go kind of anywhere, really. So there we are. Short and sweet. A little card using masking liquid as opposed to masking paper. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you'll give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I look forward to seeing you next time.